Last night, I was laying in bed, thinking about the fact that even though I'm a college graduate, I still am not any closer to having the dream job I was dreaming of when I learned to love my field. That's when your mom piped up and said, "Oh, but Mediocre, you're so popular on YouTube, why don't you keep making videos?" And I was like, "No, babe, I want my hobby to be just that, a hobby." And then your dad piped up and said, "Oh, but Mediocre, you're so good at making videos, everybody thinks so." And I was like, "Okay, babes, if you insist, I might just make a video on how I plan to make money in the meantime." And then you piped up and said, "Oh wow, if you made a video like that, I would like and subscribe and comment telling you you're cool and share it with all my friends." And then Veronica from the 5th grade showed up and said, "Mediocre, remember when I told you to go behind the bleachers to meet me and I wasn't there and I was laughing at you with all my friends? Well, I'm here to apologize and I brought you a PS5. And then everyone cheered and everything was right in the world. And then I woke up. It was all a dream, minus my employment issues. It's shameful really, but it's been 3 months now since I left college and I still got no job. And while I'm not getting exactly discouraged, time is ticking and I'd like to start making my own cheese so I can start doing all the shit that I'm really into and buying all the shit that I really like. Still, the job market isn't exactly accommodating right about now. You can choose between shitty hours, being on call the entire week, or having 2-hour trips back and forth to your workplace, with no company transport of course, all of that topped off with a salary that's just a little over minimum wage. Needless to say, I am so fucking happy to have a college degree, dude. Really, I really fucking am. If only there was a way to work from home with something that is proved to be a quick way to find success with no discrimination for me being a nobody. Some time ago, back when Tumblr existed and I was still in the PvP phase of Dark Souls 2, I stumbled across an image that I never really forgot. You know this show? Harassing. It's not talked about all that much nowadays, but it's still like a cult classic of epic animes. Well, the guy who made it got his start making porn. He's the only guy I can think of off the top of my head, but the point I'm trying to make here is that no matter how humble your beginnings, anyone can make it in the creative works market. Right? I'm not any good at drawing, but I can write a pretty mean story, so I think I'll try my hand at that. Now, I'm not saying this to tease. If you ask me, writing fanfiction is a logical prior step to becoming a writer. Just like you play sports at school, so you become a sportsman, or you're an aspiring streamer, so you groom children. What I'm trying to say is that even with humble beginnings, you can make it in the industry if your content is impactful enough, or it draws in enough eyes at the very least. With that being said, I'm gonna set out to learn about the field, looking for the hottest of smut books, the most bold tags, the most popular dynamics, and the most fucked up situations that are being printed on the page in order to tastefully encroach upon this new world of content creation.
Noah, stop!
Wattpad. When I was in school, I knew many chicks who were into this page, or app. Weird chicks, hippie chicks, boy band lover chicks. It's accessible for most crowds. It looks like the most logical place to start. At first glance, the first thing I'd like to say is that a lot of these cover images are very stock picture-ish. I describe it like Pinterest photo montages. This is our first foray into the world of amateur writing, so let's keep an open mind. Plus, it's not like my thumbnails are any better. Right away I can tell that, despite Wattpad having maybe purposely tried to hide it, a lot of the content here is very edgy. Not in the common sense, but there's definitely a lot of inappropriate shit going on the moment you step away from the front page. Just like Webtoon, this page hosts mainly self-inserting power fantasies, except that by self-insert, I mean that it really inserts you into the story. A YC, that means your character by the way, being the stand-in for your IRL name so that you can feel the trepidation of being lusted after by Jacksepticeye, Markiplier and PewDiePie at the same time. This is where young adult novels thrive for the most part. The general consensus is that the main demographic is Gen Z women, and you can really tell. Most of these books are written from the female perspective and to appeal to the female vision of many things, particularly romantic relationships. The stories aren't really what we're here for. Let's check out the comments and see exactly what makes people click with these stories.
I'd give him so much head his dick would turn into a prune, like I would literally suck out his soul like a goddamn Dementor.
I'm literally sitting on the toilet right now letting blood clots fall out of my vagina.
I watched a porno where the girl set her pussy on fire and he put it out with his cum.
Yummy chode.
Welp, I can't lie, but don't bully me for this. Sigh, I actually tasted period blood, and it's actually pretty tasty.
When are they gonna sex?
I love them. Have sex. I will suck his dick. Mark my fucking words.
This is so freaking hot. XD, don't tell me, Mom.
He spanked that pussy! Nasty hot!
He more jelly than my period blood clots.
Why can't Tom Holland look at me like that, like he'd be considered a child predator, but still?
Honestly, feeling bad for her vag.
So what I'm gathering is that young people want to read about sexual misadventures. The more fucked up, the better. And if I can mention period blood from time to time, that's cool too. Okay, got it. Also, I'm just gonna address this because it was way too noticeable for me not to. We all saw all the fucking weird age gaps in these stories, okay? We all saw it, and I'm not gonna pretend like I didn't see it. I do believe that for the purposes of this video, I will not be taking inspiration from that shit.
A lot of press stared at me, and I put my middle finger up at them.
Fanfiction.net and Archive of Our Own. At first I was going to make these two separate entries, but the function that they both accomplish is pretty similar. They're both repositories for fanworks, the difference being that fanfiction.net is the safer option from the two. Not to say that there's not any weird shit. When I got... Fuck it, no, I'm not doing a Kyle, boys. When I got to the age of 14, I figured that it was quite likely that I was gay. This didn't surprise me in the slightest though. I didn't see a point in coming out until I was sure. As things stand now, I'm pretty certain that I am, but I'm still not coming out until I'm good and ready. I've told Stan though, that's good enough for now. As appropriate as this revelation was at the time, it didn't really bring me any closer to working out what the fuck was going on with Cartman. I dismissed the thought that I could be attracted to him, despite the fact that he did tick all the boxes of what I could consider to be my type. Taller than me, dark hair and eyes, strong broad shoulders. After all, this was Cartman that I was talking about. The guy who still maintains to this day that Hitler was the most awesome person in history ever. As a Jew, I really don't feel that I will ever be able to overlook this particular difference of opinion. Hey, Pikachu! Ash shouted at his Pokemon. Stop humping my leg! Pikachu said all excited. Oh, that's... I'm not saying that. Oh, that's just great. Ash said, pissed off. Hey, come on, stop humping my leg. I said stop humping my leg. Hey, Brock, can you tell me what's wrong with Pikachu? There's only one reason your Pokemon would be doing this, Brock said. What? Your Pokemon is gay. What? Ash said, surprised. What the fuck are you talking about? Pikachu's not gay. Oh yeah? Then what is he doing to Charmander? He's tackling him. Alright, that's enough. Stop that. Ash said, pulling Charmander away from Pikachu. You okay, Charmander? Your Charmander's all traumatized, dude. Brock said, examining Charmander. He's confused. He'll probably turn gay too. Shut up, Brock. None of my Pokemon are gay. Then maybe you should check out what your Bulbasaur's doing. Holy shit, he's shoving his vine whip up Pikachu's... Ah, Ash shouted. Bulbasaur, return! You see, I told you. This sucks. My Pokemon are gay. Ash shouted. How can I become a Pokemon master if all my Pokemon are gay? Dude, what's wrong with being gay? Brock, are you... Did you just grab my ass? No. Uh-oh, Misty said. Charmander and Bulbasaur got out of their Pokeballs. Yeah, and they're having a three-way with Pikachu, Brock said, snapping a couple of photos with his camera. Wow, said Misty, that's hot. Everybody laughed. Misty, you slut. The end. But that is not the focus of the website. And I hear that if you write sexually charged shit, it can get deleted at a moment's notice. While Archive of Our Own? Well, Archive of Our Own is some true inner circle shit. But not like in Illuminati inner circle, but rather Masonry inner circle. It's not a secret, and while weird shit happens, it's the most accessible of all groups. You just need to get invited by someone that's in, and you can enjoy reading whatever you want from here without even having to log in. A lot of the famous stories that started in the internet were first written and publicized in one of these two pages. And it's the one where you'll find the more fucked up shit. Archive of our own, that is. Talked about American politics or something, but neither of them could really pay attention. All Keboon could think about was Joe's fat juicy cock, and Mr. Biden was drooling at the acorn. After a few minutes, Joe couldn't take it anymore and drank the orange juice. Keboon went, "Oh my god, he drank my acorn orange juice," and instantly ogged. Mr. Joe Biden giggled and blushed like a kawaii little anime girl and let Keboon absolutely devour his cock. Wow, America! What no one could predict was that the Earth would end because a shut-in nerd shit the entire circumference of the planet. And yet, despite Mary being buried in her own scat, she continued to pump it out by the truckloads, burying her city, then her country, then the continent in her excrement. By the time the overflow became international news, the shit had already begun traveling overseas to blanket the rest of the world. But the scat outbreak would not be contained to one planet. Soon, the overload of loads escaped into the atmosphere, then into the stars. Earth, now a giant ball of shit in space, became the catalyst for the entire galaxy being filled to the capacity with shit. Shit from a nerdy redhead named Mary. It would take dozens of years to happen, but in due time, shit would become the sole and primary element of the universe. Giddily fondling her newly warping body, she'd ease herself into such a position that her pissing cock was drenching not only her entire face, but also her hair as well, opening her mouth wide as an attempt to drink it all. She'd barely notice or care that her super long frog tongue was slowly turning a very glossy green, doubling in thickness as well, rendering any speech she might try to take at this point somewhat difficult. Not that she cared, showing her two hands down her throat, whatever instincts were left in her native body led her to spew a stream of upchuck consisting of much more than the lunch and breakfasts she had. Bulging her cheeks out as she sprayed her greenish chunky mixture all over as much latex as she could see, grabbing a few massive handfuls to rub all over her hair, her natural dark hues overtaken by a sludgy puke brown. What was the point of this scene again? If you haven't noticed, this video has become more of a train of thought rather than any unified vision. Next topic.
I saw a tweet the other day that said, bottoms be like, ooh, I'm so wet. Baby, that's shit. I don't like that.
Omegaverse. So far, this video has been in a pretty joking manner, but at this moment let me tell you that I am not joking. This is an oasis of seriousness in a sea of banter and sarcasm and faux comedy. I am not joking, you got that? I am not joking when I say the definitions, and neither am I joking when I react to them. This is 100% unadulterated truth, and you will listen to it because if I'm going to write a cool story that appeals to every single demographic possible for the highest amount of profit and fame, I have to at least be aware of this. Omegaverse is like a pre-made addition to any story's world building and storytelling. It can be applied to every setting, to every time period, and to every work of fiction. It's something you add on top, like a Skyrim mod. So, what is this addition then? Basically, this is a world where the whole Wolfpack thing gets pornified and applied to humanity. How so exactly? Well, in the context of Omegaverse, you and me, dear viewer, would be betas, which isn't me insulting you, or myself, but rather the category of living being we fall under, which is just regular human. Then there's the star of the show, Omegas and Alphas, which are the main focus of the stories included in this tag. Omegas are basically the catchers and the Alphas are the pitchers. They are biologically hardwired to want to fuck each other with extreme prejudice. All that animal shit like musk, breeding seasons, mate bonding, making a nest like thing, calling their children pups. All of that applies to these two. They're basically what every Discord kitten and alpha relationship wishes their lives were. And it doesn't stop there, as you can be an alpha or an omega regardless of gender. What do I mean by this? I mean that if you're a woman and you're an alpha, you can make an omega pregnant, even if that omega were to be like, let's say, a man. Get where I'm going with this? In an Omegaverse story, men can get wet like women get wet, and women can get massive fucking boners like men do. I'm not entirely sure if women alphas have penises or if they have magical vaginas with sperm instead of ovaries, but I am 80% sure that Omega men don't have vaginas with which to give birth. So imagine what fucking mechanism they have to have in order to do that. The fucked up thing is that googling this, I thought I'd find out the origins of this type of shit would be like one of those fucked up hentai comics you send to your friends to shock them. Shitting dick nipples, anyone? But turns out it's an entirely Western creation, and from Supernatural no less, which is really fucked up if you ask me. Like, you saw this real man with families and wives and children and thought, what if one of them fucked the other and the other got pregnant? Like, what? And this is kind of funny, but alpha men have knots on their penises, while quote-unquote bitch males don't have them. Like, come on, man. Come on, at some point something's gotta give. But I'm not here to judge. I will judge, but I will keep it to myself. And if I have to add Omegaverse things to my story for it to be popular, then slap a fucking Omegaverse shirt on me, because anything is worth it for the sake of passive profits. Knowledge. I am now armed to the teeth with it. I can feel the creative writing coming inside of me. My sweat has a chemical smell, and my hair is falling off rapidly. This is what I've been looking for. I am now ready to write the most fucked up and epic story that will get me donations on Ko-Fi, Patreon, PayPal, and Twitch. All I have to do is write the most epic story that will forever imprint my existence into the annals of history. A story about sex and drama, about teen issues and edgy shit, about foundations and secret societies. All of that crossing over famous IPs that a lot of people like in order to really crank up the appeal. Without further ado, I give you Mindstalker. Oh, that already exists. Then what about Hearts of San Andreas? No, that exists too, okay. How about Fallout Hills? Fuck, why are my ideas so fucking cool people copy them before I even have them? All the cool ideas for crossovers are used up. All I've got left are these shitty IPs that nobody likes and only morons would be into. Whatever, country girls make do. Check this shit out. World of Tanks. No, okay, Thunder. During the World War II campaign, Unit 731 were being nice to their POWs, when suddenly, some fuckery happens that freaks an eldritch god onto the world. Now you got a massive tentacle monster sticking out the side of the planet, and a bunch of tanks shooting at it. And a British dude is on the case too. And also cowboys from Louisiana are on the case. And you know what? I've been playing a lot of State of Decay lately, so let's just add that too, to put a nice bow on things. Yeah, this is the type of shit that's going to make the donations and likes roll in. So, without further ado, let's get these fingers typing.
Granted, I love getting paid to do nothing, but I don't particularly think those services really
Actually, nah. This is actually kinda cringy. Why should I pour all this time and effort into something that's probably not gonna make a single dollar? Besides, what writing skills do I even have? Last time I wrote was to have habbo virtual sex when I was 8. Forget this shit. And also forget my career. I'm just gonna start working some minimum wage retail job. It sure as fuck is better than simply spending months producing $0 while making videos and playing video games. It's time to pull the plug on this whole thing.
Hold it right there.
Who's that? Oh no, it's my evil alter ego, Successful Dude. What do you want, man?
I'm here to tell you not to give up, Mediocre Dude. Not when you've come this far. Look at your history. You've been the most successful and famous VTuber, the most successful and famous ASMR producer, the best game reviewer, the best War Thunder video game player, and the only person to have ever seen Minecraft's real final boss. You're clearly so much cooler than everyone on this site. If anyone should write a book, it's you.
You really think so, Successful Dude?
I know so, Mediocre Dude.